What's going on, guys? Krusty K's here from the Go Boys Network, coming with a slate preview for June 14th. We have a beautiful Friday slate on our hands, so let's not waste too much time. You can get all these odds at FanDuel Sportsbook. Let's hop right into it, though. First game on this slate, we have a day game, the rare Friday day game, but it is the Cubs. They're at home, so they play in the afternoon. It is Kyle Gibson taking on Jordan Wicks, Cardinals versus the Cubs. And for me in this one, I'm going to go with the over. Jordan Wicks is a guy who he's coming back from injury. I'm not sure what to expect, truthfully. He was a bit of a mixed bag when he was healthy. And this Cardinals team right now, as we talked about, really just hitting well and starting to kind of find their stride. So I like them to put up some runs. I mean, we know about Kyle Gibson. He's going to give it up. He's going to be out there for 6 innings, but he's going to give up some runs, going to give up some hits. So I like the over. Totals at 8.5. Feels a little low for a game at Wrigley. I live in the area, so it's very warm. I'm expecting the ball to be flying out for sure. 8.5 just feels way too low. So I think this thing soars over. Our next one is the New York Yankees taking on the Boston Red Sox. Luis Gil versus Brian Bayo. You gotta give me the Yankees here. This team is just so good, and I refuse to try to fade them, especially at this point in the season. Bats are starting to click. We've seen it time and time again. They got kind of embarrassed in the game against the Royals today. They came back, took the lead, blew the lead. Clay Holmes ended up blowing the save, losing the game. So now they have to go on the road, go to Fenway, and I mean it's Yankees Red Sox. They're locked in for this. So give me the Yankees here. It's minus 165 on the money line, so obviously a parlay piece. But I like them here, especially with Gil on the bump. Gil's just been outstanding. Another tough test for him here because obviously you're getting the Red Sox, who are number one versus righties over the last 30 days. But, I mean, he was up to the task against the Dodgers. I think this is the same kind of thing here. You're facing a tough lineup, but you have a great pitcher. So give me Gil to deal, and I think Bayo gets touched up. He's been getting touched up quite a bit this season. Our next one is the Miami Marlins taking on the Washington Nationals. As of right now, the Marlins haven't announced a starter. I was doing a little research, couldn't find anything confirmed yet, so we're going to roll with it as undecided. Taking on Mackenzie Gore. So for me in this one, I'm not sure what the price is going to be yet because we don't have a starter, but I like the Nationals in some capacity, whether it be on the money line or possibly as a player performance double with Gore strikeouts. But I just like the Nationals here. I like Mackenzie Gore a lot. This Miami team, they don't see a lot of pitches, so expect Gore to pitch deep into this one. And Gore already has a really long leash. So if he's going 6-7 innings here, I don't see any way that this Miami team puts up any sort of consistent runs against him. I'm really unsure who Miami's going to put out. It could be a bullpen game just from what I was looking at. But like I said, I couldn't find anything concrete. Not super concerned about it, though. Like I said, this Nationals team, right around league average versus righties and lefties, truthfully. So I think they can get us at least a couple runs, which should be more than enough for Gore to get this one done for us. Our next one is the Philadelphia Phillies taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Ranger Suarez versus Kyle Bradish. This is a huge weekend series. You got two of the best teams in all of baseball going head-to-head. I cannot wait for these games. So really tricky spot, right? Because you got the Phillies, who are crushing pretty much everything, as we all know. And then you have the Orioles, who at home against lefties have like a WRC plus of 150. This is a really interesting spot. So Baltimore minus 130 on the money line at home. I can't really argue with the price because it's Bradish versus Ranger Suarez. These teams are outstanding. Their pitching staffs are outstanding. Price feels more than fair with them being at home. I'm going to go with the Phillies on the money line. So here's my thinking, right? So Ranger Suarez, obviously he's a lefty. Baltimore handles lefties pretty well. But my whole thing here, I think Suarez, being who he is and the experience that he has, he knows how to pitch in these kind of big spots. And obviously, while it's just a regular season game, this is a big series for them. You're playing the best team in the AL. This could be a spot that some people would say maybe is like a World Series preview, I guess. So, you're going to want to show up. I think Ranger Suarez has the stuff and kind of has that gamer mentality to show up in these spots. So I just think he comes out and he spins one for us. I really do. I know a lot of people probably aren't going to agree with that, but we called it the Ronaldo Lopez masterclass when it was needed, and I kind of feel like Ranger Suarez has that same sort of mentality. That's that bulldog, give me the ball, I'm going to go get it for you. And I really think that, ultimately, he gets the job done for his team. So I like the Phillies on my line here. It probably won't be a popular pick because I'm sure everybody's rolling with red hot Baltimore, but I'm on the Phillies. Give me the Phillies. Our next one is the Cleveland Guardians taking on the Toronto Blue Jays. Logan Allen versus Kevin Gausman. So, I mean, Gausman at home, obviously you want to back him. Toronto is super playable, minus 135 on the money line. Guardians, obviously a really good hitting team. I'm going to roll with the no runs in the first inning. I think that's my favorite look in this one, solely because I'm really unsure what to expect here. So Gausman's been really like a mixed bag this season. We've seen it quite a few times. Gives up a lot of hard contact. And, I mean, obviously I have some concerns there. But at home, he's just kind of been a different animal, truthfully. So I do want to back him, but I just can't personally get there. So I'm going to go with the no runs in the first inning. I think both these guys get through the first relatively unscathed, obviously unscathed, 0-0, and cash the Nerfy for us. If I had to pick a side, I'm going with Toronto. But like I said, for me, I just can't get there. This Toronto offense, too inconsistent for me. And like I said, I'm really unsure what kind of Gausman we're going to get here because he's been such just a roller coaster this season of inconsistency. Our next one is the San Diego Padres taking on the New York Mets. This is Matt Waldron versus Sean Manaea. I am regrettably rolling with the Padres and Matt Waldron. Knuckleballer, obviously not something that a lot of these guys see. So I think he uses it to his advantage. You know, find a way to navigate this Mets lineup, who really isn't hitting right now. As I'm recording this, they're being shut out by Rodri Munoz, which I think is hilarious. But here we are. So this Mets team, as we've all seen, really just scuffling at the plate, not having a lot of good at-bats, one of the lowest pitches per plate appearance in all of baseball. So just really not making pitchers work at all. Just feels like a really tough spot for them, like I said, against a knuckleballer. They haven't been super disciplined, been chasing a lot. So I think ultimately this plays really, really well into Waldron's hand. And then Manaea on their side is a lefty, obviously, and the Padres are crushing lefties. So I hate backing their offense because they're just, for me, they're inconsistent. Even though on paper they look great, whenever I back them, they don't score. But I'm going to go with Padres on my line and trust that they're going to get me at least a run or two to bring this one home. Our next one is Tampa Bay Rays taking on the Atlanta Braves. This is Zach Littell versus Chris Sale. So these Braves series, the prices, I mean, they continue to just be a bit outrageous in my opinion. The Braves are minus 210, and I know it's Chris Sale. I get it. I understand it 100%. Rays plus 1.5 is where I'm going. So I can't lay these prices with these bats. They are going home, which I do like that, but they've just been striking out a lot. If you've been paying attention, this team, plate discipline-wise, the discipline does not exist right now. Cole Irvin just had a borderline blow-up / masterclass all at the same time against them in this last game. And I mean, Zach Littell's got really good stuff. He's got a good splitter, good slider. And I think he can, potentially rack up some Ks here against them. And I just feel like there's just way too much value to get plus 1.5 at such a playable number with a Braves team that's just been super inconsistent. So give me the Rays plus 1.5. I mean, I think Sale pitches well. I'm not saying he gets lit up or anything, but I think in this one the value lies in the plus 1.5 with the Rays, knowing that the Braves bats just haven't been consistent since losing Acuna. Our next one is the Cincinnati Reds taking on Milwaukee Brewers. This is Hunter Green versus Freddie Peralta. This money line to me felt kind of short. Minus 140. Milwaukee at home with Freddie Peralta, I have to get involved. So Milwaukee in the money line, that's where I'm going here. Fastball Freddie against this Reds lineup. I think he annihilates this lineup, to be honest with you. We've seen it, especially on the road. These guys, man, they struggle with plus velo. They struggle with sliders. What does Freddie throw? A hard fastball and a great slider. So I think Freddie mows through this lineup. I think getting them at minus 140 on the money line at home is an insane price. So I'm all over Milwaukee here. This is one of those spots where the line kind of felt trappish. But then I was like, oh, maybe Hunter Green's getting a bit of respect. So maybe that's where the price comes in. But for me, I mean, trap, no trap, whatever you want to call it, I'm in. Give me Milwaukee on the money line.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the Gold Boys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the Gold Boys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
Another great one here. We have the Detroit Tigers taking on the Houston Astros. This is Tariq Skubal versus Hunter Brown. For me in this one, I mean, I love Tariq Skubal. We all know that. Houston is a team he already had a ton of success against, so I'm a little reluctant to back him here. But I'm going to go with the first 5 under. Hunter Brown's looked really good in his last couple starts. Tariq Skubal, obviously, we know what we're getting. So I like the first 5 under. I think both these guys can deal. I just think Skubal's on another planet right now. If you've been watching, he's just absolutely unbelievable. So give me the first 5 under. Our next one is the Oakland Athletics taking on the Minnesota Twins. This is Mitch Spence versus Simeon Woods Richardson. This price just feels ridiculous. I know Oakland's bad, but like Simeon Woods Richardson, I'm not sure he justifies a minus 190 money line. This was a tough game for me because, like I said, that price is just so hard to get behind. But Oakland's just so bad. My best look here, and like from a value standpoint, Oakland plus 1.5. I mean, it's gross. It's a gross play. But I mean, as I'm recording this, you have them tied 2-2 right now, going up against Joe Ryan. And I mean, if they can get some runs off of Joe Ryan, I mean, Simeon Woods Richardson's a guy where I think they can get some runs off of him as well. So I think they can keep this one close. Their bullpen's been really good. If Spence can give them like 5 innings, I really think they can turn over to the pen, keep it close, possibly win. So give me Oakland plus 1.5 here. Next one is the Pittsburgh Pirates taking on the Colorado Rockies. Right now, the Pirates have not named a starter. Rockies are throwing out Ryan Feltner. I'm going to go with the Pirates team total over. You get a Pirates lineup who really, I mean, has been pretty inconsistent for much of the season. But they're going into Coors. They get Ryan Feltner, who we all know gives up a lot of contact, a lot of hard hits. Feels like a really good spot for this Pirates team to do some damage. They got some lefties with some big-time power. You know, Neil Cruz, Brian Roberts, ghost of Rowdy Tellez if he happens to play. It just feels like a really good spot for them to get the bats going. So I like the Pirates team total over here. Our next one, Chicago White Sox taking on the Arizona Diamondbacks. This is Chris Flexen versus Ryan Nelson. Another gross game here. Minus 185 for Ryan Nelson is insane. But I mean, that's where I'm going to go. I like the Diamondbacks on the money line. Obviously, it's a parlay piece. I don't trust them on the run line with Ryan Nelson, just not something I'm willing to do. But on the money line, I think they get this win one way or another. Even if Nelson gives up a few runs. I mean, this White Sox team isn't great, but Nelson isn't either. So it's just tough to lay anything close to this kind of price with a guy like him. But I do think they win this game. White Sox are just abysmal, especially their bullpen. Our next one, big one here. This is Kansas City Royals taking on the Dodgers. Cole Reagans versus Gavin Stone. Super interesting matchup here. Obviously, Cole Reagans been outstanding this season. Gets a really tough task here against the Dodgers. Gavin Stone, I mean, he's been every bit as good as Cole Reagans, truthfully. So for me here, I mean, obviously tough to fade the Dodgers at home. I really do like the Nerfy in this one, the no runs in the first inning. So that's what I'm going to give you guys. I think both these guys just pitching outstanding, can navigate through the first inning really well. If I had to pick a side, though, I am going to roll with the Royals in game 1 here. Gavin Stone's been super good, really, really good. But I feel like he's like a big-time regression guy. We've talked about it a couple times here. And I mean, this Royals team, a lot of bats on ball, a lot of contact. You know, they're a team that, you know, if you're one of those guys who's kind of like due for regression, they might be able to make it happen. So give me the Royals on the money line here in the first game of this series. Our next one is the Texas Rangers taking on the Seattle Mariners. This is Andrew Heaney versus Luis Castillo. So the Rangers pushed Castillo back, the Mariners pushed Castillo back to start this game, first game of the series. So, I mean, they obviously know the importance of this series going up against a divisional opponent. So I am going to go with the Seattle Mariners and Luis Castillo on the money line. There is no price currently, surprisingly, but I'm sure it's going to be a decent juice. So I would likely just use it as a parlay piece. If it happens to be playable, then obviously take it as a straight. But I just love Luis Castillo, especially at home. Texas continues to struggle at the plate. We say it every time I record and talk about Texas, but that's because it hasn't changed. You look at their offense, you look at what they're doing, and they're not hitting. It's incredible. It really is. This lineup is loaded, and they're just not hitting. So I can't back them, and I'm going to continue to fade them because we've been making money fading them. We pick our spots. We backed them the one game against the Dodgers, and it paid off. But I mean, that was a select spot for me. That was like okay, they're getting a good matchup. This is not a good matchup. So I think they struggle here. I think Castillo deals, and I think the Mariners pick up a big win to start this series. Hey guys, I just want to give a quick reminder that new users can bet $5 at FanDuel on any of the bets in this video and win $150 in bonus bets if the bet wins. Now let's get back to the bets. The last one on this slate is the Angels taking on the Giants. This is Tyler Anderson, and currently the Giants have not listed a starter. I believe it's going to be some sort of combination of Spencer Howard again, how it was the other day, where it was like Spencer Howard's type bullpen type thing. I really like this spot though for the over, truthfully. Tyler Anderson's one of the luckiest pitchers in all of baseball. We don't have a total for this one because they haven't officially named a starter yet. But man, I can't help but like runs here. Like I said, Tyler Anderson, one of the luckiest pitchers in all of baseball. If you look at the metrics, Spencer Howard is a guy who was absolutely terrible for the Phillies. He actually looked decent in his last start against, I believe, was that the Rangers? I don't remember who it was against, but he actually looked pretty good, pretty serviceable. Sorry, the team escapes me. But he's just a guy who I just envision getting lit up over and over again. And this Angels team, I mean, while they're not like a name recognition in the lineup, you know, they have guys who are putting bat on ball, and they're starting to heat up a little bit. The bats are getting going. So I like the over here. I think we see a lot of runs. That does conclude our slate, though. If you guys do me a favor, keep dropping likes, keep dropping comments. I love reading all your comments and reading about all the parlays you guys are cashing. It's awesome. I love it. I will drop the recap from yesterday in the bottom of this one. And before I hop off, let me give you guys my 3 favorite picks. So we are going to go with the over in the Cardinals-Cubs game. That's my first one. This thing is too low. Phillies on the money line. Probably one of my most controversial picks on here today. And Brewers on the money line. Minus 140. Just way too good of a price to pass up for Freddie Peralta. So, as always, you can get all of my official plays at goldboys.com. If you have a gambling problem, tell 100 Gambler. Thank you, guys.